You might feel alone in the storm of your spiritual awakening, but it's just part of the journey. Hello everyone, I am Michael and I help guide people on the evolutionary journey. You might feel alone in the storm of your spiritual awakening. It's very overwhelming when you come to realize that you were living in a matrix and none of this was actually real. And, as you tend to peel back the veil more and more, and then you actually realize what's right in front of you, and you say, holy shift. You've shifted. But you might feel alone during this spiritual awakening. And that happens to all of us. You are very blessed, actually. Might not seem like a blessing at first, but you are very blessed to be awake right now. You're blessed to see the truth, because ultimately you're going to make it through. And it might feel very uncomfortable right now, but it's almost like you know too much, right? You're like, oh, I know too much. A couple of years ago, I did a video, and it was called Warning, There Is No Turning Back. It's a warning. You should heed the warning. Once you wake up, once you see, you can never unsee. And it can become very scary because, so many in the world might not be awake like you are. And you're able to see things that many are not able to see. And there are different levels and layers to this. Some people, they might see some of the levels and layers, but you're going real deep like I am, Light Warriors. You're going real deep. The sword cuts real deep. And, people might, think that or say that you're crazy, or they can't hear you. They don't want to hear you. And you feel alone during your spiritual awakening. It's kind of like being in the storm. Here we are again, Light Warriors. We're in the storm right now. But, there's different levels. There's different activations. And you realize there's so much more to this reality than we were led to believe. But then you start to see everything totally different, I'm experiencing that on my journey. Like you could be at the same place that you've always been, and all of a sudden everything seems so different. Everything seems, it's like you shifted into a different dimension. And, there's no turning back from this. You can't turn back. So, we have our peaks and valleys, and we have things that throw us off our course. Many things that try to distract us, but we keep moving forward no matter what. You need to find something in your life that you could focus like a laser beam on and keep moving forward no matter what. That's what I'm doing while I'm doing this work with all of you. I focus like a laser beam. What do I need to do today? And I take it day by day. And I say, okay, I'm okay on this day, and this is what I need to do, and this is what I need to get done. It's very overwhelming when you go through a spiritual awakening. When you have activations, when you level up, all of a sudden, you're like, where am I? All right, so you really want to have an understanding and overstanding that you will go through these time periods. And, the collective is all feeling this right now, and, the energies are very, very heightened. People are looking around in the world saying, what's going on right now? How is this happening? But many, they're not able to see what you're able to see. And, I've lived a life, you've lived a life, and then all of a sudden you have a massive awakening and you can no longer unsee it. You can't unsee it. So you're going to have to start to live a new life on the new earth. We're headed to the new earth, light warriors, but you want to get out in nature and you want to ground yourself as best you can. You know, we're all in different locations around the world, and some are more dense than others. And that's why it's very important, especially when you go through these awakenings, when you go through these periods where you're leveling up, that you take the time to ground to nature. Allow the negative ions of the planet to course through you, because it's going to help recalibrate yourself. But there's so many changes, and certain things can make you see something that you've never seen before. And then all of a sudden, you're living in a new world, in a new reality. And we're always leveling up. We're always shifting. And we always have to remember, as my Nana once said, there's a time for this and a time for that. And sometimes we need time for ourselves. Sometimes we need to switch it up. You know, I've been doing that on my journey, and I've been switching it up in recent times because the energy is different. So when we do this, we start to pull in new energies, and you begin to evolve. You're not going to be the same person today that you were a year ago, several years ago. So remember this on your journey, that it is like waking up into a storm. Just a little drizzle today, light warriors, not too bad. But realize this on your journey, because a spiritual awakening, an activation, it might not feel pleasant, and you feel like you're in a new world, and you have to get you have to get your bearings. You have to get your bearings. So I hope that this message is helpful for you. There's a lot going on out there, but I know a lot of people, they feel alone. You feel so alone when you're going through a spiritual awakening, and that's okay. And there's levels and layers to it. It's gonna happen one time. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. So we're constantly evolving, and who knows where we're gonna end up. But know that it's part of the journey. Keep moving forward as you're evolving, as you're changing, and in the end, you're going to be something brand new. If you find this message interesting and you would like to learn more about our reality in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, why don't you click subscribe, give the video a like so it becomes visible to more people, and please share with one other person, because when we all share with one other person, we will rapidly grow our 5D community. And that's what we're doing. We're growing. We're rapidly growing sometimes. Sometimes it's too fast. Slow it down. So I hope this message is helpful for all of you. And remember, there's a lot going on in the world right now, but don't worry about what's going on out there. You know why. We cannot control what is around us. However, we can control from within. Be conscious that a spiritual awakening can make you feel so alone. Out in a storm. It's a storm. It's a storm. But in the end, you're going to be better. You're going to be able to create something new. You're evolving. This is our evolutionary journey. And even though we feel so alone, We're evolving into something new. And we're going to rise out and be better on the new earth. Take in these vibrations, raise your electromagnetism, and remember, always and forever, the will beats the skill. What are your experiences with a spiritual awakening? Have you had some interesting awakenings and seeing the world through a different lens all of a sudden? See it in a different lens. Share it in the comments. Share this video with others so that others don't feel alone during their awakening process. I am the defender of our everyday lives. Victory of the light. Keep growing. Keep expanding. I love you all. Just ride out the storm. Just ride out the storm. That's all it is. Just ride out the storm. And then we'll be so much better for it in the end. The power of resiliency. We have to create a new earth. It's up to us. Victory of the light.